All right. Welcome to Subscribers Sunday on Sideboardmtg. We've got some the top voted Reddit decks from the past week for you guys. The decks that you guys wanted to see, the ones that got the most votes. So, as always, if you want to help control next week's or even have your decks played on next week's Subscriber Sunday, hop over to the Reddit. The link is in the description box below. And post your decks, give some votes on some decks, and maybe even some feedback on how you think that the deck builder might be able to improve the deck. Anyway, we've got three sweet decks for you guys tonight. We've got a Vampires deck, we've got a Land Destruction deck, and a Mirari's Conjecture. I always want to say Majori. Anyway, we've got a Conjecture deck. I know you guys like the taking extra, or getting extra copies of spells and stuff. I always like doing that, so hopefully we'll be able to do some of that tonight. And as always, if you want to play any of these decks, don't forget to check out my sponsors, manatraders. They've got a pretty sweet rental service where you can pay a flat rate and play all the decks in standard on MTGO. So we're going to get started. Coupon code, if you do decide to sign up for manatraders, save yourself a couple bucks and use coupon code Sideboardmtg15 and Sideboardmtg Black this month, and it will save you 15% on your first 3 months. Let me get that light on. We've got another light here. Bam! Is that better? There we go. Hey, I knew I was forgetting something. What's up, Justin Clay? Hey, how you doing? Boiled Spoons, Logical Order, Grounded Flagon, Rush, first like there. That's right, smash that like button. Mike Etzby just signed up for manatraders. Well done, Eric. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I do not know if their vintage code is still going on. I haven't seen it pop back up, but I know that there was a sign-up code that if you signed up with use coupon code Vintage, and for the holiday season, you would save 40%. And I don't know if it was 40% on, the first month or 3 months. I don't know exactly what that deal was, but I had seen that pop up, and I was like, 40%. That's pretty huge, and that's like a little less than half off, but or a little more than whatever. Anyway, how's it going, Dragon Lord? It's going good, man. I've had a long Sunday, and I'm ready to just sit back, play some Magic, relax. Trying to stay warm and enjoy the good times, right? Let the good times roll. You too. Looking forward to seeing some sweet Magic homebrews. You know what? Me too. I like some homebrews. And we're going to start out here with this Vampires deck. I think this one's going to be pretty sweet. So, let's take a look at what we've got going on. We've got one of my favorite Vampires, if you're going to be in a Vampire Tribal deck. Sanctum Seeker. Whenever a Vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Now, that's not like you declare attack and you have multiple vampires attacking and you get 1 trigger. No. Each one will count as a separate trigger. So if you've got 3 vampires triggering, you're automatically going to do 3 additional damage, and you're going to gain 3 additional life. So just for having 3 vampires swinging is going to be pretty big. Sanctum Seeker in the past, I have usually sandbagged this card so that I could get me a plethora of vampires out there. Get that nice little vampire horde on the battlefield, and then slap the Sanctum Seeker down, turn them all sideways, and Bob's your uncle. There's your game. Anybody's got an uncle named Bob? I've got an uncle named Robert. Bob. We call him Bob. Anyway. We've got some pretty sweet options here. We've got let's talk about the vampires that we have, right? In the 1-drop slot, we've got Duskborn Sky Marcher. Now, this is a 1/1 that flies, and no, it's not a Healer's Hawk. It doesn't gain the life, but he's still a 1/1, and believe it or not, it's actually quite deceptive how often you will use that pay 1, tap him, and give Target attacking vampire +1/+1 till end of turn. Sometimes that extra +1/+1's all you need to be able to get your vampire across their board and safely into an attack or something like that. You can even hold him back when you think there's a goblin chain whirler. No, that won't work because it has to be attacking. No, that won't work. I've played with this card a lot back in Ixalan when it first came out, but I think I ended up actually moving off of this card for some black vampires. I like the little 1 mana vampire that deals 2 damage when it swings. With the attack and the trigger. It's kind of like a baby Sanctum Seeker. That's what I ended up moving for. But at first I was using this. I also I like Sky Marcher Aspirant. This is a vampire that gets a lot of play in the White Weenie decks. And Sky Marcher Aspirant, once you go wide, you get your Ascend. This goes up in the air. It's not really hard to do. If you can hit your 5 lands and have 5 creatures on the battlefield, or 4 lands and 6 creatures, then it's kind of already happened. If one of those creatures happen to be Legion's Landing is really, really good because it actually counts as 2 permanents. You put it down, you get the Legion's Landing enchantment on the battlefield, plus you get your token. So works really well with Ascend. We've got Adanto Vanguard, which is probably one of the best white creatures in Standard right now, as far as early game. It gets more play than Lyra and things like that. What's up, McFats and Barry? How you doing, sir? We've got Paladin of Atonement. Now, I've got to read this one. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you lost life last turn, put a 1/1 counter on Paladin of Atonement. When Paladin of Atonement dies, you gain life equal to its toughness. So if we can make this larger, if they kill it, then we gain a bunch of life, maybe some life. Either way, like, this could really get out of hand, especially if we do have some way of, like, letting them through, making them want to attack or something like that. So as long as we lose life, Paladin of Atonement is pretty sweet. And then we've got Argyle's Bloodfast, which we could pay 2 life to make sure that we lose life. We've got Blood Crazed Paladin, which I'm not a big fan of Blood Crazed Paladin, but I've seen a lot of people use it, and I've been killed by it a few times. They wipe your board. You have 3 or 4 dudes on the battlefield, and all of them, all of those creatures die. You flash in Blood Crazed Paladin, and Blood Crazed Paladin enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn. That can actually be pretty huge. Now, yes, you guys in chat are asking about Legion Lieutenant. Where would any good Orzhov Vampires deck be without their Lord? And you need Legion Lieutenant. It's a 2-mana Lord. Pretty good card. I like it. I've got to turn this music down. This music is blaring on me. Anyway, now, in the past when I played this deck, I found cards like Queen's Commission to be absolutely terrific. These are just really good cards. If it resolves, it's a 2-for-1. If it doesn't resolve, then it's a 1-for-1. You got their counter spell for a 3-mana spell of your own. And if it does resolve, now they either have to wipe the board or they have to use multiple pieces of removal to get rid of it. So I really like cards like Queen's Commission. In the past, I used 4 copies of Queen's Commission, and I used what's the other one? Call to the Feast, which is a 4-drop, but you get 1 more vampire out of it. So just another 2-for-1, 3-for-1, that sort of thing. Regal Bloodlord, gain life and make bats. That's not bad. History of Benalia. This was the card that seemed a little bit out of place for me. However, when you get to looking at the decks a little bit closer, you see, a Sanctum Seeker's a Knight. We've got the Blood Crazed Paladin Vampire Knight. I think there's another Knight. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe yes. Vampire Knight here on Legion Lieutenant as well. So there's a couple Knights, and being able to make those larger seems pretty good. So, what's up, Kenneth? I think we got one of your decks in here tonight. I think History of Benalia is kind of taking this spot for Radiant Destiny. when you really get down to the brass tacks of Radiant Destiny versus something like History of Benalia. History of Benalia is going to, actually put some things onto the battlefield, set you up for these really powerful alpha swings, and it's also going to, give you some bodies the turn that it comes down. When you play Radiant Destiny, yes, it's going to give you that buff to the rest of your bodies, but it's not going to actually add anything else to the battlefield. So that, I can see running History of Benalia over Radiant Destiny. I agree with a lot of you guys. I know some of you are like, nah, I want to run some Radiant Destiny in my Vampires deck. And sometimes that's the way you want to go, because a lot of times with the Vampires decks, you just make a lot of, 1/1 Vampire, life linkers, and turning those into 2/2 Vampires are pretty sweet. Also, when you have a Radiant Destiny, it's a good play around to get around cards like, Goblin Chain Whirler, that sort of thing. But no, we did not go with Radiant Destiny here. In the sideboard, some of you are already asking about, do we have Profane Procession? No. No black cards in the entire sideboard. We've got Sheltering Lights. Forgive me, guys. I just ate, and it was delicious, but I probably eat too much. Ugh. Anyway, Sheltering Light. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Scry 1. And then we've got Ashes of Abhorrent? Okay. So, Ashes says players can't cast spells from graveyards or activate abilities of cards in graveyards. Whenever a creature dies, you gain 1 life. So this would stop Jumpstart. Taco Night at Tier 1. We do Taco Night usually about once a week. Taco Night, and we have a Spaghetti Night. Tonight was lasagna. More red sauce, right? Anyway. Ashes of Abhorrent. I guess we're just turning off... Jumpstart. I mean, you're not stopping like the Phoenixes coming back from the graveyard. Those aren't activated abilities; they're triggered abilities. So you're not going to stop the Phoenix. What else would Ashes be good for, guys? Like I know there's more minds out there that could rip this apart quicker than I can. What else could we use Ashes for? Players can't cast spells from graveyard or activate abilities of cards in graveyard. So Jumpstart's off the table. And then, of course, whenever a creature dies, you gain a life. So, you guys let me know what you think. Chump blocking all day, Pridemate. Okay. What's up, right? Thank you for subscribing. We've got Baffling In, great answer for opposing Adantos and things like that. We've got Remorseful Cleric to be able to sweep the graveyard, which I know a lot of you want to be sweeping the graveyard right now, but in the beginning of the meta, we really learned that there's not many graveyard decks that you want to truly sweep against, and I mean, maybe you want to have something like Remorseful Cleric against the Drake stacks, but I don't think you actually want to bring this in against Golgari. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you truly want to bring this in against Golgari. Make a Stand. Creatures you control get +1, +0, and gain indestructible until end of turn. This could just like be a true blowout, and we've seen this in some of the other mono white decks. Slaughter the Strong. If your creatures haven't grown a lot, you might be able to keep 4 separate creatures while your opponent is losing some creatures. And then, heaven forbid, this is like a 5-drop. You play this and then follow up with your Legion Lieutenant, buffing all of your your 1/1s that you kept behind. Now you've got 2/2s and you get to swing in. So yeah, maybe Ashes plus Legion's Landing flip and chumps all day. Whenever a creature dies, you gain 1 life. Okay, so when your creature dies, you gain a life, plus you're making a life link token, so you're gaining 2 life, and okay, that seems fine. That seems like that would work. You've got Sorcerer Spyglass to stop, planeswalkers and, search Riscanta, stuff like that. So, all in all, this should be a pretty aggressive deck, and it should be a lot of fun. I like aggressive decks. They're usually fun to stream, so. Alright, Vampire Weenies. Isn't this one by Mr. McFats here? Yeah, any creature. Right, right. Show me Vona for Jank's sake. I would say Alindra for Jank's sake, but Vona's pretty good too. This is not a horrible way to get started. I'll keep. If it's an aggressive deck, I'm probably going to, or I mean, sorry, if it's a control deck, I'm probably going to be aggressive. Oh man, that's a good way to get aggressive right there. All right. So we're going to try to slip down this Adanto. We do not have to reveal that we're a black deck yet. So we get to go ahead and get in. And we'll see if the opponent wants to, try to be aggressive with churning through his cards. I like Modern Fane. I really like Modern Fane. So before the reset on Arena, I had a pretty sweet vampire deck that I really, really like. Oh, it's Wizards! Oh, it's an Izzet haste deck. Wow, well he just opened us up, which, I mean, he's going to hit us for 2 right here, but we're going to gain that back, plus, smack him for a nice healthy amount. So let's go ahead and do this. He's tapped out, he's not blocking, so I can go ahead and play this as well. We'll attack. We gain our life back. He takes 6. Good swing there for us. Yeah, I like the Vampire's archetype in general. Oh man, this is I get the feeling we're about to run over this deck unless he's just got something huge. Oh man, you got a shock. Well, shock don't do it now. Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna swing out here. Yeah, this is pretty bad for our opponent. Right? I mean, he's got to jump in front of our Adanto, which is a 5/3. I don't even have to pay life for this. And then I drop another Adanto with him having no counter backup. Yeah, I'm going to play the second Adanto for the sake of I can pay 8 life and survive, Board Wrath if he happened to have white that he dropped down and played something. I don't know. I don't know his outs here. I doubt they're very good. Yeah. Whew. Poor guy. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. I don't see any reason, like, he doesn't have white, so I don't see any reason to, like, play around this. Alright, so go get a spell from my deck, sir. Pride of Conquerors. Want to cast that? Haha! Got him! Oh, he cast it. He cast it. And then he scooped. Alright. You agree with nothing. Oh, man. What do I think about the news on the support for Arena as far as big tournaments? I think we're going to have to see how that goes. I don't know. I mean, if they can make it work, if people play it, then yeah, they're gonna force us into arena, and I don't know if I really want to be like forced into a money sink that you can't actually like earn anything back out of. Um, I mean, like you're just grinding for more invisible things. One of the things I liked about MTGO is you could grind for something that had an actual value that you could sell, and in the long run, put money back into either the channel or back into your pocket or into something else. But it was money. It was a liquid asset that you could actually get your hands on. Whereas with Arena, there doesn't seem to be anything remotely like that, and I don't know how big the pros are going to be on like, are they going to say, hey, once you get to the Pro Tour, you just wait, we're going to give everyone on the Pro Tour a set of Arena cards, or what? So, all right, so what do we want to play against the opponent here? Some Sheltering Lights. I'll take some Sheltering Lights over some Duskborn Sky Marchers. Other than that, maybe Baffling in, deal with a couple of his early creatures. I'll take the Baffling in over the Conclave Tribunal, and I'll just roll with that. Think he's going to bring in Cannonade. Okay. Cannonade's probably it's probably a legit answer. Okay, well, I mean, we can play some things, but if we don't get into a land, we can't play anything else. We do have 2 draws before we need a land. So the question is do we have a land in the top 2 cards? Now, it's a 20-card deck. So, I'm not really fond of keeping, like, Bloodcrazed Paladin, Bloodcrazed Paladin. I wouldn't mind getting the Adanto down and being able to swing through with that. But I think I'm going to mulligan this hand. I don't like the double Blood Crazed. We do have 2 lands, so now we have a Scry and 2 draws. I'm going to go to the bottom of that because without a white source, I can't really play anything here. So yeah, we're gonna be digging for that white source. Yeah, bad keep, maybe a bad keep. We're about to find out. Like, this next top deck will really tell us if it was a bad keep. And that's Nelly. Oh man, maybe I should have mulliganed one more time. Our opponent is also missing land drops. Think he can counter? I mean, does he keep negate? He brought in negate against us. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I can't believe he brought in negate against us. We can't cast that. Alright, let's see if we can Adanto and go from there. We may be able to apply pressure, make him actually, spin cards on Adanto and stuff like that. Oh, I didn't pay for it. I was reading chat. I was reading Boom Madness wrong again, and then I made it right. Like, I didn't fight over that. And I should have. Oh, no. What a nightmare. Alright, well, we might be able to salvage this. Yes, yeah, it was it was definitely a punt. It was definitely a punt. I should have paid for life to keep this Adanto Vanguard alive. Stormfleet ho! Right? Captain Storm. Blinking. He's going to blink the token. Okay. Getting in. Making that land drop. The opponent's definitely got stuff going on here. Let's go Paladin of Atonement. And I'm going to go ahead and put the Legion Lieutenant down. If he's got a counterspell, we'll see it here. No counterspell? Alright. Well, we do have some knights. So, next turn, like, Vampire, our Legion Lieutenant, which is a Vampire Knight, will get bigger. We've got Paladin of Atonement, which is a Vampire Knight, which was kind of the reason I wanted to go that route with it. Also, if he doesn't counter this next turn, then Sanctum Seeker is also going to be in there. I would love to draw one more land so I could keep up a Sheltering Light for the Sanctum Seeker. But if he doesn't have Lava Coil, there's probably not much he's going to be able to do about Sanctum Seeker anyway. I actually think we might be a little bit ahead here. Okay. I'm going to block. I'm not that worried about getting a little bit of damage in. Yeah, I'll play the Legion Lieutenant. Because I've got Sheltering Light as backup. I mean, this is still okay. I could have just taken that damage last turn, but I really wanted to kill Captain Lannery Storm. I'm going to put that on the bottom. I want something else. I mean, I know it's a vampire, but I would, at this point, I'd settle for another white source. Time Stream Navigator. Alright, so now we're starting to see the meat of this deck, what it's really got going on. Get some triggers in here. And pass. Sheltering Light's a pretty good card. I mean, it's not exactly hexproof, right? But, I mean, if you're looking for a good protection spell for your card, then you're in white. It's a pretty good card. I mean, 1 mana is kind of like the given 1 mana. Here, protect my, here, protect my, my, oh man, that's gonna be a nightmare. Here, protect my, my dude, so, alright, so we got Sky Marcher Aspirant, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh man, we just don't have it yet. How does he block? So we're back up to 20. He has to block something. We'll let him draw a card. If he wants to ping something, he can. Pride of Conquerors. I'm going to let him draw another card. I mean, he loses Niv Mizzet, but this may also cost him the game here. Sure, let's put that on top. That'll do. This should just be over by surviving and turning our creature sideways next turn. Paladin seems good versus Mizzy. Possibly. So there we go. Jank deck versus Jank deck. I think our tribal Jank was a little stronger than his Time Stream Navigator Niv Mizzet deck. Interesting little deck. But all in all, even with the major punt by not keeping my Adanto around, we still got through that. I think it would have been much easier, much simpler had I had kept an Adanto on the battlefield. I don't think we were worried about the life total that much, as he wasn't actually pressuring our life total. But all in all, it was pretty sweet. Barry Drake, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. It was a sweet match. Again, you know, I made that little punt there, but McFats, man, he let you stay up there until the end of your deck. I mean, that was kind of nice of him, right? You know, now that your deck's over, you know, take you down. It's brutal. It's brutal. Anyway, sweet deck. I enjoyed that one. That was it was a good way to start everything off. Just kind of get right into the madness. I'm sorry, madness. I'm sorry. Anyway, we're gonna move on to some land destruction. All right, Jund land destruction. Let's start this off up here at Haphazard Bombardment. All right, I know Saffron Olive ran a Haphazard Bombardment deck not too long ago. I think he had ways of like bouncing this with blue and stuff like that. And you know, it was a pretty cool deck. And I don't know what his win percentage overall with it was, but he showed some really good matches on his replay. And all in all, I really like this card. So let's take a look at Haphazard Bombardment, and then we'll look at, you know, what we plan to do with Haphazard as we move on. So Haphazard Bombardment enters the battlefield. You choose 4 non-land permanents you don't control and put aim counters on them. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more permanents you don't control have an aim counter on them, destroy one of those permanents at random. All right, so one of the beauties of this is, you know, you get that turn, you put 4 counters up, it destroys something at random at the end of that turn, then it destroys something else the next turn. But if you put a second one down, you end up putting 4 more counters out, and those 4 counters then up the number of things you'll get to destroy, because now you'll keep destroying things until you get down to only 2 permanents on the other side that have bombardment counters on them. Or is it bombardment? Aim counters. Aim counters, sorry. That have aim counters on them. So once you get down to 2 aim counters, you're just looking for another haphazard bombardment to, you know, up that again, and you'll get triggers from each haphazard bombardment on the battlefield. So you know, if you can play these back to back, you know, you destroy 1 permanent, then you play another one. Now you're destroying 2 permanents per turn. You know, maybe you play a third one, you're destroying 3 permanents per turn. Yes, you run out of objects with counters on them a little bit quicker, but you're always adding more counters out there. So we've also got, you know, Star of Extinction to kind of keep the board wiped. As far as board wipes go, we've also running, you know, a couple Ritual of Soot and some Golden Demise, which is just good ways to, you know, keep the board nice and clean so that, you know, we can manage the board state. Now, other management cards will be cards like Cast Down. We can manage their hand with, well, actually, let's talk about the destruction spells. We've got, you know, Cast Down and Vraska's Contempt for just straight up, you know, destroying planeswalkers, creatures, that sort of thing. If we want to rip apart their hand, we've got Heartless Pillage, and we've got Mind Rot. Heartless Pillage, we don't have creatures in this deck, so unless we're going to attack with a Sylvan Awakening or something like that, we don't have a lot going on as far as, you know, raid. So Mind Rot is pretty much the same card it might. I would say that you would want to run 4 copies of Heartless Pillage over running 4 copies of Mind Rot. Now, there's just this little bitty min-max mentality in there in my head going, you run Ionize over Cancel. You run anything, even if it said counter target spell Scry 1, you run that over Cancel. Counter target spell Surveil 1, you run that over Cancel. So no matter what that second ability is, as long as it has a second ability on it, that is technically the better card, because there's going to be that small percentage of time where you actually get the other side of this, and if you do, then that's an extra benefit. So I would say that you would run 4 Heartless Pillage and 2 Mind Rot instead of 4 Mind Rot and 2 Heartless Pillage, based on like just the fact that this is the same card, only sometimes, a very, very small percentage of time, you will get a treasure, right? And no matter what that percentage of time is, how often that's going to happen, I would rather have more chances at that happening than less chances. So, Kenneth said, updated your list quite a bit from this one, but looks like it's too late for changes. Oh, you guys want me to skip it and change it, and we'll play this one last? I mean, I can change it. I pulled the one that got the most votes, so like if you posted it again, I didn't see it. But if do you have a deck link? Can you send me a deck link to the new one? Just right here in chat. Just drop me a link. Mind Rot, still a good card. It turns out making someone discard 2 cards is pretty good, right? So, all right. So I tell you what, we're gonna scratch this right here, because apparently this deck has been updated based on community feedback and other things, and that's kind of what we're all about. So you guys have got to see it. He posted it on Reddit, and then we're gonna kind of go back and we're gonna look at it after the fact. So hopefully he'll get me a link here in chat, and that's my shtick, Kenneth. Well, we've done it for some. We now have to do it for others. All right, so let's see what we've got. All right. All right, you guys are just gonna have to watch me do this. I'm sorry. So professional. So professional. Alright, so this is straight from Tapped Out, so there's some things we've got to do before we can like just directly upload this. We've got to take care of these flip cards. We've got to remove sideboard, and then we have to remove all these X's. So here we go. Oh no. How many moment of craving? You know what? I've got it right here. Alright, so remove sideboard. We got to remove the word flip. You have any other flip cards in the deck? Alright, so here we go. Delete. Does not matter. If it's not a card name, it won't pick it up. So, like, the fact that I removed the A's and stuff from this. We do need to remove these last couple, though. Alright, Land Destruction 2. Alright, so we need Tectonic Rifts. We need Ritual of Soot, Arch of Araska. And then we need some Lava Coils and Golden Demise. All cards that seem like worth getting. So, yeah. I'll put in an order real quick through manatraders, and the cards will be here in no time. So, let me do this, since you guys want to Want to see version 2 of this deck. Nope, wrong thing. Wish list, there's my cards, export, save. Yep, replace it. Love seeing behind the scenes. Thanks, Eric. Alright. So we're just going to jump over to the deck builder real quick. ManaTraders is hiring, by the way. If you live in North Carolina, in the Charlotte area, ManaTraders is looking for someone with a good, solid, knowledge base of Magic. Need to know something about Magic. I'm sure they'll have questions. God, can you imagine them be like, what was the most broken card in Onslaught? Huh? What? Alright, so import a deck. I mean, it was a deck that survived through one of my punts, so. Because this takes like 5 minutes of, putting everything together. But, hey, the bright news is within 5 minutes you can grab some additional cards if you need them from ManaTraders or something like that. So, that's crazy. Every time the heater kicks on, that light gets dimmer. I mean, they're in the same outlet, but it's crazy. Anyway, it won't take but a second. By the way, cool deck, poopy. Oh man, Walking Ballista. Oh, I love that card. I love that card. Walking Ballista was so good. Anyway, once the trade here has started, you don't need this. ManaTraders, the bot will just say, "Hey, I was told you needed these cards," and they'll come and trade with us. So. Control A, select all, drag them down, submit. Still mad at yourself for not buying Walking Ballista? Dude, I got my 4. I will probably have them forever, so it's not like I bought them. It's not like I'm ever going to make any money off of them, right? Because, like, I love that card so much. That's probably, like, right up there with my top 10 favorite cards in all of Magic. Just because it does the things I want to do. It allows you to be in, those big mana decks. It's a cool card. I like Walking Ballista. Plus, I'm going to be using it in one of my modern staples, KCI, which I'm trying to get together in paper. Alright, new deck. New version. Same deck. New version. Still running 4 copies of Haphazard Bombardment. We're still wiping the board with Star of Extinction. Ritual of Soot. Ritual of Soot, Golden Demise. Instead of Cast Down, now we've got Moment of Craving. We also have some access to Lava Coil. You'll notice that Vraska's Contempt has been removed, but we have a little bit of ramp here in Druid of the Cowl, and more ramp in Grow from the Ashes. We've got treasure maps, which were in the last deck, allowing us, to cycle through more cards, see more cards, draw more cards, make more mana to be able to make bigger plays. We can have 5 open mana by turn 5, or sorry, 7 open mana by turn 5, which enables Star of Extinction to be a usable card. I mean, you really want to be casting your board sweepers by turn 5 or earlier, but we also, have the other board sweepers to kind of, keep ourselves from just dying. We've got Demolition, destroy target artifact or land. We've got Tectonic Rift, destroy target land. Creatures without flying can't block this turn. We're not really worried about that side of it, as we don't really have a lot of cards swinging in, and I doubt we were going to tap all of our cards for Tectonic Rift and cast Sylvan Awakening. We would probably not have a whole lot going on there. And we don't have all of the main board hand disruption. Now, when we get into the sideboard, though, we're going to see all of that hand disruption, right? We've got those Mine Rots, we've got the Heartless Pillage, we've got Duress, And then that's, the backbone of your hand disruption. We've got more lava coils and more moment of craving to do just what those are good for. Adonto, Drakes, things like that. And another copy of Golden Demise against the really, really fast decks. So that's the new version. Let's jump into it and see if we can't blow up someone's permanents. Now, personally, I do not think this is like this is. I don't even think the builder is wanting to say, "Hey, this is the next best thing." This is just a really cool deck, and those times when you get it to go off, it's going to be really, really cool. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, here we go. We've got Moment of Craving. We've got Treasure Maps. We've got Haphazard Bombardment. Like, I think you just have to keep a hand like this. Memorial of Folly definitely makes me want to. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get down my treasure map and pass. Now, next turn we can activate treasure map and play treasure map. Ooh, Wild Growth Walker. Can't do a lot with that fella. I am going to leave that on the top. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to leave up Moment of Craving to kill this Jade Light Ranger. It's a land destruction deck, Black. Okay, it's not a Jade Light Ranger. Alright, well, we can allow that to get a counter. That's fine. He revealed a Verosco Golgari Queen, which is a card that could potentially come down and destroy our treasure map. If he doesn't hit a land here and he left a Verosco Golgari Queen on top of his deck, then I don't really know what we're playing against. Like, I'm going to be extremely, extremely confused. I'll take the 2 here. Okay, he did have a land. Okay. Alright, so we gained the 2 back. Killed that. We got our Ritual of Soot that we knew about. I think it's time to double map. And then we'll pass. So at end of turn here, we can activate treasure map. I mean, he may just play Verosca here. We'll take our 2. Hey, we were just at 18 last turn. There's the Golgari Queen. He is going to down tick. Due to the fact that I can only activate 1, right? I don't see a benefit to adding another counter to the one that is going to be removed. So I'm just going to allow that to happen. And I'll add the counter here to the one that's not being removed. Star of Extinction. I'm going to go to the bottom of the library with that. I'm also going to put the stop in my upkeep. And I'm going to look for a land here. Lava Coil will do. That will do. We'll put that on top. We'll draw the Lava Coil. Cast Lava Coil and pass. So now if he upticks Verosca, he still can't like stop our treasure map from flipping. So we have been missing land drops, but he did not sacrifice anything. Kind of wish he would have been sacking lands. That would have been sweet for us. Alright, Vivian Reed. Kind of missing that Star of Extinction now. No! Opponent! Well, okay. Dealing with the planeswalkers over here gonna be a little bit of a problem. Well, how did we haphazard dead ass to the finish line? Like, to quote McFats, um, like that doesn't kill the opponent. Like, what's the plan for actually killing the opponent? Like, at some point you need to finish the game out, right? It's not bad. Detection Tower showing up in a lot of the new Golgari decks. What do you guys think about this? We had like 4 copies in the top 8 here last weekend. So not a bad bad card. Looks like it's pretty good for the mirror. Yeah, we haven't destroyed a land yet. There's a Carnage Tyrant. For the record, if I would have kept the Star of Extinction, we are still not even remotely close to activating said Star of Extinction or casting it. Okay, so you can't block this turn. Oh wait, yeah, creatures without flying can't block this turn. He can't block. Got him. Got him. Yes, there's actually a lot of people are playing Detection Tower now. D Tower is currently staple and standard, finally. Moving from Field of Ruin to D Tower. Mainly because of this guy. That's the whole point right there. Target 4 non-enchantments. Yeah, you're still targeting. Yeah, it's choose 4 non-enchantment permanents. Non-enchantment. That's pretty strange, right? We're at 11, and he pitched that. He could have put lethal on the board, but he did not. Okay, he did put lethal on the board. Fine. Fine opponent. A lot of people have been saying it was good. It is a good way to deal with Carnage Start. It's just that you potentially, you're making your land base worse by playing it, and when you read the articles and stuff about why it was added and stuff like that, they basically gave up the fact that yes, we get that the deck's going to be slightly worse, like 0.1% or 0.3%, whatever, but people just don't care. People just don't care. So. It says choose. You're right. It does say choose. It does not say target. Choose 4 non-land permanents. It does not say target. So we've got one. No, we've got no chances here. No chances. Deck wasn't meant to go up against tier 1 decks like this. That's a hard statement to make. Like, it's a standard deck. those decks are in Standard. I mean, you have to always keep those tier 1 decks in your rear view mirror as you're planning on, you know, cruising through through a tournament or through games with your deck. And I'm for one, I'm all about, you know, the idea of building a deck that just says, okay, hey, look, we lose to certain matchups, that's fine, but that's usually because I've consciously said I can't improve my matchup, I can't improve this particular matchup, therefore I'm willing to just, and I think I want the duresses. I want duress. I want lava coil. I don't want grow from the ashes. I don't. How does this deck win? What are we going to kill them with? A really, really late game Sylvan Awakening. This is the only way to kill someone in this entire deck. Did you forget to put a win con in the deck? Or is Sylvan Awakening the win con? Like, this is how you have to kill them. You cannot cast this card until you have lethal on the battlefield. See your last. Okay. The whole deck was a thought experiment. Understood. The whole deck was a thought experiment to destroy lands with Sylvan Awakening as the win con. Alright, so what are we going to take out? Alright. No win con. I mean, this so you got to have 13 lands on the battlefield for this to be a win con. Like, you got to be able to cast this for 3, and then you need to be able to swing and hit with 10 2/2s. For every blocker they have, you need another win con. You can't win with this deck. Like, this deck is 100% a theory deck, and I think we're seeing it. Like, it takes me back to a couple Pro Tours back when they had to run. I'll keep this in. It's as good as anything. I'll keep when they had to run the Pro Tour in let's see, team constructed. It was a team constructed event. Understood, Kenneth. We're gonna play it either way, but they had to run a team constructed event, right? And this brings us up to a very valid point that I'm about to try to make here. We had Approach to the Second Sun was in Standard, right? But we also had Drakehaven, and everyone was like, Approach is such a better deck. Why would you be playing Drakehaven? And all the pros had pretty much the same answer. Their answer was, why would I want to pay 7 for my win con when I could pay 3 for my win con? And that's kind of where I'm at with this. Okay, so even if you are paying for it with Druid, and you're paying for it with treasure maps, which honestly, in reality, I think your treasure map tokens are going to be used to dig down to the win con, unless you're just going to sit here and hold it in hand the entire time. I think I got to kick this thing, right? Like, do I just go get a red source right now for Demolish? I mean, if he doesn't hit land drop, Yeah, if he doesn't hit a land drop, I'll pop his land next turn. So, why not? But yeah, it's why would you want to have a 13 cost, no matter how you're paying for it, a 13 cost win con when you could have a cheaper win con, right? Forest of Vraska. So we know he's got another forest. There's a treasure map. And I think I'm still going to just try to slow him down a little bit. I'm going to take my beats while we keep playing mana sources here. We're just going to try to blow him down. And then so he may just play forest here. See if we can get into our... Nope, he played another Woodland Cemetery. He's going to duress us. There will go Star of Extinction. If he takes Sylvan Awakening, we're going to be in some trouble. Yeah, you guys hear Lincoln screaming. Yeah. He's got this thing where he wants you to hold his hand while he jumps off the couch. And he goes, 1, 2, go. Cannot make that boy say 3. It's 1, 2, go. 1, 2, go. Alright, so we do get to play treasure map here. I am going to just keep blowing up his things, as I believe that's going to be one of our only ways of surviving long enough to make good things happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're still a ways off, but we could draw some stuff. Ritual of Soot would be sweet. Let's go ahead and... I mean, I want a land, but I don't think that... I don't think a land helps us right now. So right now, I would rather like gain control of the battlefield and just take lands as they come. Well, people clearly wanted to see a land destruction deck, or they wouldn't have voted for it. So, I mean, people voted for it. We're playing it. I've made my point on Sylvan Awakening. Damn you, Golgari! One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 turns. 5 turns. We got this. Oh wait, we're dead in 2. Kenneth's like, man, you ripping on my deck hard. Yes, Kenneth, I am. I'm ripping on it hard. It's almost like you were like, let's build Sideboardmtg a tilt deck. All right. This will make him go on tilt. Let's give him a deck that he cannot win with whatsoever. No matter how hard he tries, no matter what he does, you don't win with this. For every blocker that they get to keep up, you got to have another land that sets you back another turn. Just him having a 1/1 blocker would set us back another turn. We're getting there though, right? I could have played Sylvan Awakening right there and then chump block. Because it is what, until your next turn? Yeah. GG. GG. WinCon, I mean, Doom Whisper, Carnage Tyrant. You know, once you get that lock on them, like Metalwork Colossus Revisited. Yeah, Metalwork Colossus was a deck that I could not make win. I just couldn't. I tried playing it with so many different cards and so many variations, and I really wanted that deck to win. Um, like Metal War Colossus, I wanted to make, like, I tried like different versions of it and all this stuff, and occasionally you'd get this one big game where you're just like, ah ha ha ha, do all the things, and as soon as you start doing something, your opponent scoops, so you don't get to have any fun with it. No, you're good, Kenneth. Sometimes, and this comes from a friend of mine. When you play PUBG, you're always dropping in different areas and stuff, and my friend, sometimes we'll drop in in an area and we normally don't drop in or something like that, and you're there for a minute, 2 minutes, and then some dude comes around the corner, or a whole team comes in on you, and they kill you, and you're like, he always says the same thing every time. He goes, sometimes we do things to remind ourselves why we don't do things, and sometimes you forget, and you need to see it. You need to know, hey, look, you can't do that. I mean, I've tried. We've seen it done. We've seen people try, and you just can't play without solid win conditions. You got to have that forward to backwards thinking, and that backwards to forward thinking. Like when you're building your decks, a lot of times one of the things you want to do is think about. And this all comes from Patrick Chafin, by the way, who wrote some very good books about Magic back in the day. But and I'm going to summarize. I'm not going to quote him verbatim or nothing here, but yeah, and it may be a quote. I don't know, but he said that sometimes when you're building a deck, you need to think about how the very last turn, how you want that to be, right? Not necessarily like how do you want this deck to start out, right? Like, okay, I want this deck to start out. I want to play an island. I want to play a Mistcloak Herald. Like that's how I want to start out. No, you might want to think about how do I expect to see this deck win, or how do I envision the board looking in a situation where I have just won the game. And in the case of like a mono blue control or mono blue tempo or something, I normally envision that as there being a Tempest Gen turned sideways with like 5-6 islands on the battlefield. And maybe a Merfolk Trickster there turning their dude sideways so they can't block. Turning Lyra sideways so Lyra can't block. All right, and you envision that as being, that's how I'm going to win the game. And then you build the rest of the deck going, how do I make the board state look like that, right? Like, what kind of things can I put into this deck to make that board state that I want there in the end game? And that alone is that alone is like just a different way of thinking about your deck as you're building it. And I think that we can all kind of like use that a little bit in our deck building. Is make sure you got a good game plan for actually winning. Like I mean, if you envision, okay, I'm going to have a treasure map down, I'm going to sack 3 treasures, and I am going to turn 10 lands sideways with no blockers on the battlefield. That means I had to keep their hand empty. I had to, deal with the board state at all times of the game so that I could reach that area, and so that I could, and then I had to do it with the exact cards I had because I need those treasure map tokens to actually activate, or I need to get to turn 13. And at some point in there should have been some red flags going off, like getting to turn 13 to win. Okay, how powerful is the rest of the deck to expect to get to turn 13? And like just envision, like, how do you see this deck winning? And if this is how you see it winning, then how do you expect to get there? So yes, I like some of the cards that you chose. I like the idea of saying, hey, let's have a land destruction deck that wins with lands. It's a cool idea. It's a nice theory. It's a good thing to to think about and have some fun with. Can we make haphazard bombardment do some stuff? Sure, it's a lot of fun. But all in all, it's not a very powerful strategy, Kenneth. I'll leave it at that. Alright, so next we've got Jeskai Mirari's Blaze. Alright, so let's look at this deck from back to front here. Alright, so the idea with this deck is we want to be doing some really, really mean things on turn 3 of Mirari's Conjecture. Alright, so with Mirari's Conjecture, we're going to be able to return an instant on the turn we put it down. We're going to be able to return a sorcery the second turn, and then we're going to be able to thanks, Barry. I appreciate it. That's a hell of a compliment, sir. That really is. We can all, like, Thomas Edison was the man who said it, and this is probably still not a perfect quote, but when he was asked about making light bulbs, you know, like, and a lot of people know this quote or whatever, but you know, he didn't say that he failed to make, you know, he failed 1,000 times. He said he learned, you know, 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb, and but he learned something from every attempt, and when you can do that, when you learn something from every attempt, then you're winning. You're winning, and I think that's something we can put forward to life in general. Anyway, Mirari's Conjecture. On the third phase of Mirari's Conjecture, anytime you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you get a copy. Just copy it. Hey, copy it. Get an extra one. You know what? I like that. I'll take 2, please. And what's not to like about some Inescapable Blaze? Rush is going to go insane over Inescapable Blaze copied, right? 6 damage, any target. Any target. This deck inspired a rant that was longer than the gameplay. Your deck taught a lesson. You should be proud. Your deck won. Anyway, don't take it personal. So what? It was your deck. So what that you put a bad... You think Deb's never built a bad deck? We play his decks. No matter who you are, you've built a bad deck. We've all built bad decks. I don't know why people take it personal when their deck loses. Shit happens. We can point out why it lost. We can talk about the negatives of it. And we pull a silver lining out of it and we go from there. Right? Like, me and Rush go round for round on it. But I don't get mad at Rush for you know, building a bad deck or something. I get mad at Rush because we discuss particular cards in the deck, and he's like, yeah, that makes sense, and then he refuses to put that card in the deck, like, or refuses to take a card out of the deck. He's like, you're right, this is a horrible card, but I need to have 3 copies of it in this deck. Okay, all right. That's why me and Rush get into it right there. So, but I have found a way to fix that. That's no problem. I just no longer tinker with Rush's decks before we play it. A hard head makes a soft ass. No one's whipping my ass anymore, Rush. I'm a grown man. You'll have hell trying. Anyway, so I just have a hard head. Might have a hard head, in my case, might make a broke jaw, but you ain't softening my cheeks. Anyway, we want to copy Inescapable Blaze in this deck. That's what we want to do. This is what we want to do right here. We want to get Mirari's Conjecture down. We want to copy Inescapable Blaze. Or we want to copy Expansion Explosion for 1,000,000, right? Expansion Explosion for 1,000,000. I'll take it. I want it. I just for all the mana in the world, Expansion Explosion. We can get that mana by treasure maps. We can copy that Expansion Explosion with another Expansion Explosion. Well, kinda, not really. We can make another copy of Expansion Explosion with double cast. We can chart a course. We can you know, draw cards with chart a course. We can kill you know, those big bad Carnage Tyrants with Deafening Clarion, copied by Expansion Explosion, or Double Cast. I cannot for the life of me understand why there are 3 copies of Double Cast in this deck and only 2 copies of Expansion Explosion. Can someone please explain that to me? Alright, so this goes back to what we were talking about with the Mind Rot and... okay, so because Double Cast can copy Inescapable Blaze, right? For 8 mana. Is that why? That is the only reason I can think of that you would want more copies of Double Cast than you would want of Expansion Explosion. Because when it really boils down to it, Expansion is better than Double Cast. Yes, it can only get converted mana cost 4 or less, but look at the cards that are 4 or less. You're getting, you know, copies of Tormenting Voice, Chart of Course, copies of Deafening Clarion, which is probably like the most likely things. You know, I noticed that wasn't Kenneth's account, that Doomfalled Gearhulk or whatever. I noticed that wasn't Kenneth's account. I was like, where did he get this deck? Anyway, Deafening Clarion, like I thought he had a different deck or a different account that he normally posted from, but anyway, Deafening Clarion is like the main thing you want to copy against, you know, like the Golgari decks and stuff. You need to copy Deafening Clarion to be able to kill a Carnage Tyrant. So you're going to need either, you know, 5 mana to be able to Deafening Clarion, or Deafening Clarion again for 6. And then, or either Deafening Clarion, copy it with an expansion, or Double Cast, then cast your Deafening Clarion. So if you do play these cards, remember you need to cast Double Cast first when you're doing Double Cast, but when you're casting Expansion to copy, you want to actually put the other card on the stack, then copy it with Expansion. Just some interactions you might want to pay attention to, as Double Cast is a sorcery. You would put Double Cast on the stack, then you would cast your next spell, whereas Deafening Clarion on the stack, then copy it with Expansion. Just you know, it's just vice versa. So just remember how that works. The first Eruption, this card's not bad. The first Eruption deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. Now, 1 to each without flying. You also, on the second chapter, you get to have a little bit of ramp. On the third chapter, you get to sacrifice a mountain. If you do, you get to you know, do 3 damage to all creatures, which is not bad. I mean, that's like an additional Deafening Clarion. So, you know, you can get this down, and then, you know, you sack a mountain, and then, you know, you cast a Deafening Clarion. That'll get you up to 6 to get rid of Carnage Tyrants and things. We've got Opt, we've got Treasure Map, and we've got Giant Ballard, right? Giant Ballard's pretty sweet. And I did mention that we had Ionize. Rarely do you ever want to copy Ionize, but, like, sometimes, like, you'll be going to counter their spell, and, like, they'll counter your spell. Well, you can, you know, throw an expansion in to copy your Ionize to counter their counter spell. And Ionize is one of the few places I ever actually want to do that. Most of the time, I'll just copy my own counter spell and just go back after the original spell again. But with Ionize, you want to counter as many spells on the stack as possible so that you get the additional, you know, 2 damage, that sort of thing. Anyway, we've got Cleansing Nova here to also wipe the board, and that's pretty much it. This deck did not come with a sideboard. I'm going to run it as is. I'm not going to be sideboarding. We were not asked to build a sideboard for the deck or anything like that. So I'm just going to run it as it is. No sideboard. And here we go. Sideboardmtg running a deck without a sideboard. That's going to happen. Y'all seen that dude with the big neck? You see, yeah, there's a meme about this guy with the big neck and this kid with the itty bitty 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 neck. So yeah, it's pretty funny. I kind of love it. I mean, I wish I could have some white land to guarantee I'm as Deafening Clarion, but I like this hand. I'll take it. Even if I don't cast Deafening Clarion until like 6, we might be able to get away with that with an expansion. And just bam! Yeah. Nick Lives Matter. Oh my god. You hate Jaya? Oh, come on, man. You just throw away everything that's bad and draw more cards. Jaya's not horrible. Let's start out with the Steam Vents, and we'll just bring it in, tap, and pass through. Oh, that's why you hate her. Understood. You've opened so many, and she sells for nothing. Somebody bought a lot of Dominaria. I think I can take this upkeep out. Boom. If he charts a course here, I may copy it. I think I will, actually. Drowned Secrets. Okay. Yep. So, we're going against Meal. Why can't I have that many cards? Right? He actually sells for something. Narcomoeba. I don't think Narcomoeba warrants a... Oh man, he got a second Narcomoeba. Look at that. Milled himself. This is the Wand of Vertebrae deck. He milled himself, not me, to get a second Narcomoeba. Alright. That's fine. That's fine. I can deal with that. You bought 2 Verosco Golgari Queen and hand opened 5. Wow. Alright, so this says put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Exile it, shuffle up to 5 cards from your graveyard into your library. I mean, so he just gets to keep milling for one here. I think there's a world where we win before we get milled out right there. Alright, he milled himself. Man. I think I would have just wanted to have Discovery Dispersal. Alright, let's take 2. Why can't you just play a Chart a Course or something, dude? I assume he's got Counter Magic open. There's a Sacred Foundry. I'll take 2 more. Like if this resolves, then Jaya consumes 2 points of damage for us. I assume this just doesn't resolve. Like, that's an op. All right, so we got Precognition Field. We've got another Drowned Secrets that he milled away. What do we want to discard? Nothing? Okay. I assume this is like a Creeping Chill deck. That's why he's trying to mill himself. He's trying to, flip Creeping Chills and Narcomoebas over. And I mean, yeah, Jaya took a little hit here. Remember that part where I said without flying? Yeah. That's a thing. Alright, so let's get rid of these Narc Amoebas. One, two, three, four. Let's just go for the first eruption. I'm okay with like letting this mana go here. I mean, it's only instant sorcery mana. I guess we just have to bite the bullet on whatever the opponent plays next turn. If it is an instant or sorcery, we could like copy it or something. So, right. Yeah, I was looking at like just how much we could do, and then like first eruption is going to mean that we actually get to do a little bit more next turn, because the first eruption is going to give us 2 mana. We're going to be able to uptick her, so that's like 5 mana. Then we have you know, 2 extra left over here, so we can go for 5 next turn. Copied. That's 10 cards, and if he counters one of them, I mean, it's still... There's a mission briefing. Okay, I mean, is he still milling himself here? Like, is that the gameplay? He is still milling himself. He does not give up on milling himself. Nice cards, opponent. Nice cards. Full water grade. Pretty. First eruption doesn't see a lot of play. I think if we've seen a lot more, like, you know, white weenie decks and stuff like that, we'd see maybe a little bit more play. But even back when Goblin Chain Whirler was just, you know, very prevalent in the format, you still just didn't see first eruption getting any play. So. All right, this is our turn. Choose any target for X damage. Cancel. I have to put the mana in my mana pool first. Alright, X damage. Who's drawing the cards? I want to draw the cards. I want to draw the cards. I want to draw the cards. Undo. Yeah, I still did it wrong. I still did it wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Double cast first for 2 mana. Now we do it like this. So X equals 5. Copied. You may number 1. Number 2. Now we will say, draw me 5. Draw me 5 more. Alright, what do we want? This is fun. I ain't gonna lie, like drawing cards is fun. I do like drawing cards. Steam vents, I guess. Do we need another white source? Probably not. We need another blue source, maybe. So, Steam Vents, tap, pass. Can you imagine if we get Gyre Ballard off? Wow. Still gotta get rid of 2 more cards. Ionize and land. The reason I said ionize is because like I can always get it back with Mirari's conjecture if I want to. We have 1 ionize in hand. I don't think that we're going to have like, an opportunity where we have like the option to take 2. Why? I mean, I just picked 7 cards that should win me the game right here. Like, why do I need... Why must I have land, an extra copy of Ionize, and an extra Sacred Foundry, and an extra Sacred Foundry? Like, I can't understand why I must have these cards. Oh my god, there's a Creeping Chill. He cast that. It does say you get to cast that, right? No, it just says it. Okay, so you just exile it. Okay, so he didn't cast Creeping Chill. It just happened. Alright, whatever. We need all the cards. Fair enough. That's not very constructive there, Rush. Like that's rude to say about their deck. Like you gotta find more creative ways to say those 3 words. You can't just be like their deck sucks. You gotta be like, look, there are ways you could do that better. These cards aren't as powerful as other cards in the meta. Yes, small, dainty little hands. Perfect for holding the grip of an M16. Oh, we're going to take a beating. He's going to come get some. So his idea is to mill himself into oblivion. If he would have milled Arclight, it would have been a much different story. It really would have. Much different story. I've read some studies in the study show. You're hilarious, Rush. What do we want back? Our burn spell? Let's play Chart of Course. There's double cast and a Tormenting Voice. I'll get rid of the other Chart of Course. I'll uptick her. I mean, technically, I don't even need to uptick her. I could just be like, I could uptick the other side and just discard Tormenting Voice and something else and draw 2 cards. Like, if Tormenting Voice is good, then Jaya Ballard can be good. Alright, so we're going to cast Tormenting Voice, getting rid of the first Eruption. We get to opt in another land. We say go. Alright. So we're just trying to get to that one turn where we get to double cast our spell again. And if we can keep Jaya Ballard alive until then, we'll be alright. Been following Eric long enough, you don't remember how you got here. Damn. That's a pretty good compliment right there, Kenneth. I appreciate that. That's a pretty good compliment. Tier 1 Jank says he got here because of a shout out from Dev. The first one. Dev's only given like 2 shout outs. Been running his decks for almost a year now. I guess it was a little while before you even noticed, but oh yeah, the webcam, right? Well, you guys are the ones that wanted me to get a webcam, so I was like, man, I don't want to be on camera. You know, you're always gonna have the video where you know somebody's doing that nose thing. You know, oh man. But you know, I've got a mustache. I'm constantly fiddling with it anyway. So, you know, if I just slide my finger over and scratch my nose when I go for my mustache, most of the time y'all don't even notice it, even on camera, right? You just got to be sly. How to Scratch Your Nose on stream and Get Away with It by Eric Kilo, Sideboard MTG. It requires sweet ass mustache. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. Well, it's getting bad, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting very bad. We need ways to gain life. I guess he kills Gyre Ballard. Gyre Ballard. Gyre Ballard. Me. Well, Jaya, you soaked up some damage. You did good things, girl. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming out. I actually like Gyre Ballard. Like the Grandma Burn decks and stuff. Like Barry Drake had a Grandma Burn deck. That deck was fun. It was cheap. Didn't cost a lot to get into. For those of you that are all about some... I'm just going to get this Deafening Clarion back. I don't think I can afford to get anything other than Deafening Clarion back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, alright, so then we play the Sulphur Falls. We go... Deafening Clarion. Mirari's Conjecture. We only have one instant in the graveyard right now. It's an Ionize. Gotta choose both. That's right. No creatures on the battlefield. I would do that in paper too. I swear I would. I'd be like, all of my creatures get lifelink until end of turn, and everything takes 3. What creatures? I don't know. But if you do something and I flash one in before this resolves, he's going to have lifelink. Like, I don't know. Like, it's your option. It's your option. I think it's just the way you would... Like, it's one of those things where why would you do less when technically you could have another effect? I mean, even if you make your opponent hesitate one extra, iota longer, which makes him use a little bit more brain capacity. And I promise you, when you get into these big tournaments and stuff, it's all about, did you get enough sleep last night? Did you drink your orange juice this morning? You got enough vitamin C? Can you make it through all these tournaments? Can you make it through, these games without making so many punts that it's just unbearable? Can you? I don't know. Can our opponent get 4 Arclight Phoenixes back and murder us? Probably. I'm going to say he's got a good shot at it. If he doesn't, he's dead. There's a Creeping Chill. Don't have another spell. Don't have another spell. That's not a spell. You just want to exile the one. That's what you need that 2 mana for. You just want to exile the one. You don't have another spell. Don't do it. Don't you do it. Don't do it. It's a Narcomoeba. Okay. It's just a Narcomoeba. He's back to 14 though. We win! What? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. So it would be 1, 2, copy. Double copy. So the next spell that we cast would get copied. Would be that one. Copied. 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 So it'd be technically 4 copies of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I take 2 life. 3. So it'd be 4 times 3. We would only been able to do 12 damage. 12 damage. That's it. That's all we would have been able to do. He scooped. Ah. Did he just keep milling himself? I mean, like... Your wedding was nowhere near as tiring as a GP. Probably not for you, but F&M, a couple hours at pre-release and you're wiped out. Oh man, like seriously, like anyone who ever is like, hey, I'm going to a big GP this weekend, or I'm going to a PPTQ or something like that. My advice is always deck test your deck, but don't play it the night before. Sit back, watch some TV. You already know what your deck is. You already know what everybody's playing. Surf the web a little bit. Make sure you know about any new decks that may or may not have popped up. But don't. How big of a hurry do we need to get into? Yeah, I'll pay for this. You know, search the web a little bit, but the biggest important, like most important part, is just make sure you get some rest. Like, get some rest. Make sure you got a good breakfast, that you got the calories you need, that you got the sugars you need. You know, even a little bit of caffeine. Don't overdo it on the caffeine. You don't want to be jittery, but just be in fighting condition before you go to the fight. You know what I mean? Like, that's double cast. Do we need double cast? Does double cast save us? Maybe. Double cast might be really good. It might be like, you know, turn 4 double cast on a charter course. Man, that seems good. But I don't really want double cast. Like, I think we're just going to be sitting back on Ionize for a little bit. There's Tormenting Voice. That's fine. I'd rather have that than double cast anyway. Clifftop Retreat? Seems fine. Seems fine. Charter course so we can draw first, and then I'll get rid of the mountain. We'll pass. Probably actually just going to play the first eruption next turn. Let me ramp into Jaya Ballard, I guess. GP Seattle in June. So you're West Coast. Someone stole your Jeskai Nexus deck this weekend and took third. Well, it's horrible they stole your deck, but it's cool that your deck got third, I guess. Silver lining? It's not always easy to get a silver lining. Like, it's like, man, it is a good deck. I knew it was a good deck. I've been telling everybody it was a good deck. I've been playing it as a good deck. Yeah, let's just drop this first eruption. And then we'll have, like, free Tormenting Voice mana next turn if we want to do that. We play the Sacred Foundry tap, still keep up an Ionize. Yeah, the way he said it was a little bit weird, but I think he meant like someone took his deck. But how do we claim decks anyway? Like, seriously, how do we claim decks? Well, that's my deck. There's apparently 20 million people that play Magic the Gathering, whether they all play Standard or not, but out of 20 million people, the same, I'm not going to say like the same 75, like everybody, like there's going to be a bunch of people playing the same 75, but the same concept's going to run up. So you run 3 Ral, no Karn, slight difference. I haven't seen many Jeskai decks running like 3 Ral, so I mean that's fairly different. What does he do? Pop into like Unexplained Disappearance? No, can't do that. Why would you leave that in? He'd never seen a creature against me, and he left in Unexplained Disappearance. Did I see Dev? Yes, I did. I seen Dev posted a Hedana's Climb with an Explorer mechanics in it. I thought that was pretty good. I was like, didn't we just play a deck like this? He wanted 4 copies of Adonis Climb in his version of the deck. We'll be playing it soon. Tomorrow, we've got some devs decks coming up for you guys. I know y'all seen his $5 deck list. He's got a $5 deck list of each of the guilds, and they're pretty good builds. I mean, they've got kind of like all the things you want to have. So, I mean, like the Golgari one plays to the mechanic. The Boros one has the mentor mechanic in it. Is it spells? And no, it didn't have the Crackling Drake, but Crackling Drake cost a couple bucks, and Enigma Drake's pretty cheap, so we got to get away with Enigma Drake, so that's not bad. Let's Tormenting Voice, discarding a Detection Tower. We're gonna try to draw a couple cards. Double cast Inexcapable Blaze. We'll go Sacred Foundry. Tapped pass. Yep, we're gonna roll like that. Penn or Ohio? Somebody a Buckeye? What? Oh, Dayton, Ohio. Isn't Dayton where they've got the trolleys that run with the cables above the streets? It's like one of the last 2 cities in America or something like that that still have the cable trolleys. But they're actually buses now instead of trolleys. Yeah, something like that. All right, we do have Arclight Phoenixes binning. He is binning Arclight Phoenixes here, so we do have to start being wary of what's going on. He has used his radical ideas that were in the graveyard, so that's a plus for us. Discovery is going to pitch a couple more things, but he has not actually cast more spells here. We are going to take some more damage off the Creeping Chill. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and counter Discovery. I wanted to see what he milled first. He can have that Narcomoeba. I'd rather him have the Narcomoeba and like not be able to get, a Discovery Dispersal. Okay. Well, I'm going to get rid of this one. Pass. Madness is at the parking lot on Saturdays ready to fight. Out there jumping up and down with his Jinkos. Sorry. Discovery Dispersal. I wonder if he's digging for more cards. I just want to deny this. Maybe I should have allowed this to resolve, but another Creeping Chill. Ouch. Just total ouch. He did get rid of an op though, which is pretty sweet. I'd hate for him to be able to. All right, so that was GG. Looks like the sucky deck beat us, right? So, whose deck sucks now? Yeah, we were talking like chat, like mainly just Rush. Was talking smack about the idea of milling yourself to oblivion for Narcomoebas and Arclight Phoenixes, but it's good enough for other formats. And there comes 6 power. Hindsight, I should have let him have the Discovery Dispersal and countered the mission briefing so he couldn't get back opt. Yeah. Alright. Here we go. Alright, so we're going to take this out. All right, we're going to bring this in. Okay, alright, we're ready. Erratic Cyclops works great with Inescapable Blaze. I like Erratic Cyclops. I actually do. I think the tech cards are actually like just one of those little hidden gems. Do I think it's like top level power? No, but the card's good. In a manner of speaking, it's not a great card, right? But it's good enough. It's good enough for play. It's good, definitely good enough for fringe play. Treasure map. Let him like set up and do his thing. Hope he doesn't have like this super fast hand. When do I want this to come in? When can I accept this coming in tap? Turn 1. It does. It's really hard to kill it without, you know, a proper removal spell. So I'll give you that. It does demand prime removal. And when you're having to use, you know, a card like Vraska's Contempt on, you know, an erratic Cyclops, you're like, hope they don't have Ralzeric. So. It's cool that you get to go to a large LGS because, like, that's a really good place for training. When you go to a large LGS, you have to be aware of, like, the bigger the LGS is, the more meta, like, the more you can, like, the better you can call the meta, and the more likely, or the higher the likelihood that you're going to be playing against. I don't want that. Playing against like top tier decks. Inescapable Blaze. Well, this is a good time to bring in this tapped. And we'll pass. Piston Fist, Erratic, and Quasi Duplicate. Oh my goodness. You got any of the electrostatic fields in there, Billy Mays? Forces you to play good decks. Yeah, I mean when you have no choice but to run against like Golgari and Jeskai and stuff like that, you have to play decks that can compete those. Guys, you just posted a mono green deck on the Reddit for next week. Go check it out and upvote it if y'all want. Fair warning, no Carnage Tyrant or Vivian Reed because he's broke. That's right. You could always leave it in the list. I mean, we have mana traders. We don't care about price cards on Magic Online because mana traders is cool like that. They just say, here, you get to play with everything. Mana traders, mana traders, mana traders. I'm going to beat that horse till it's dead. Like, I'm not shilling the company. I'm not doing that. What I am doing is telling people I like about a good product. So if y'all want to say I'm shilling for mana traders or whatever, to shill for a good product that I picked, that I sought after, sure. It wasn't one of those things where they like showed up, sent me an email or something, and was like, hey, we want you to do this. No, I was like, hey, look, I will do this if you'll give me a coupon code so that my audience can get this at a cheaper rate because I want my audience to have this and I think it's a cool thing. And that's how we got started with Mana Traders. I like Mana Traders. Mana Traders was a game changer for me. This channel really helps you prep for local tournaments. Well, I've always said that I like to give people an honest opinion, and sometimes an honest opinion is not the nicest thing in the world because it's not exactly what you might have wanted to hear. I don't need that right now. Sure. Spell Pierce. Sure. Just digging through the deck, trying to find more good ways to kill the opponent. If we get to the Mirari's Conjecture, we can get the double cast back, so I wasn't that worried about getting rid of it. I would rather see more Mirari's Conjectures than the First Eruptions. And I don't know how much I like about the First Eruption. Like, it never seems to line up with where you really want to be in this deck. Like when you're looking at like playing on a curve and stuff, like you say, oh, okay, I'm going to play this on turn 3. Turn 4 is when it's going to go off for the additional mana on turn 4. You could have up to 6 mana on turn 4. But you don't really have a lot of big 6 mana plays, except for, like, do you want to just turn 4 an Inescapable Blaze? No, you really want to be able to, like, turn 6 an Inescapable Blaze with 4 additional mana. So, I don't know. I don't know where I'm at on the First Eruption. I don't think it really lines up with where you want to be. Like, 'cause, like I said, you want to be able to have, like, 8 mana available to copy the Inescapable Blaze for, like, this overwhelming thing, but... That's what I bought on Arena. The $5 welcome bundle. It was it's the best bang for your buck. Is you pick up the $5 welcome bundle and go from there. I want to get this Giant Ballard to Ultimate. That's what I want to do. Oh man, there's Arclight Phoenix. Is he casting up spells? He did. Bye, Jaya. Bye, Jaya. Jaya. Treasure map. First Eruption deals damage to creatures that do not have flying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 7. Draw a card. 6. First Eruption. Treasure map. Let's draw a card. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can activate. Then we can't opt. First Eruption, be ready for next turn. I'm looking for outs. Looking for ways we get around this. I guess it's treasure. I guess we go digging. Like, we got to go digging. We got to get in there. I mean, we could, like, Inescapable Blaze, go ahead and get him down to 15. We're gonna drop to 11. And we could opt. That's not horrible. I think I still want to treasure map here. Yeah. I'm going to treasure map. And just set up for next turn. So we'll go First Eruption. Pass the turn and opt. You can open about 34 packs a month for 2 hours a day play, hour a day play. Yeah, for about an hour a day play. So for 30 hours of game time, you can save $30. I mean, I get it. We play video games for that exact like type of thing, but I'm just gonna scry. Does that help us? I mean, that's part of that end game win condition, right? That's part of where we want to be. Yeah, that's what I do. I actually just I do the competitive grind till I get to 5,000 gold. Then I take that 5,000 gold. I get into a draft. I draft something that'll draft quick, and just basically just roll that into as much gold as I can, or into gems as I can. You can use those gems to get into more things. Plus, you get to keep the cards from the draft, that sort of thing. Oh, why did I do that? Why did I do that right now? I thought it. Never mind. Ooh, look, another. Tormenting voice. Let's go bottom. All right, I'm gonna play this. We have to just basically dodge. We just have to dodge a couple cards here. Let's get this opt back. Play the steam vents. We just need to dodge him getting another Arclight Phoenix in the graveyard. We need to dodge him getting a Creeping Chill. If he gets a Creeping Chill, then we're in a little bit of trouble. Any lightning strikes or shocks in the deck? No, no. There's no like removal. I mean, I guess we've got like shock for 6. Burn them. I mean, we get to deal the damage right here, but we don't get to do it at instant speed. So, if he's got a way to bring these Phoenixes back, we don't live to our big turn. And he hard cast Creeping Chill. We don't even have counter to be digging for here. GG. The super secret tech wins the match. Drowned Catacombs, his super secret, or Drowned Secrets, his super secret tech. I don't think you need First Eruption. I think there's a good reason First Eruption hasn't gotten a lot of play. I think we just seen a major part of it. I also don't think there's enough white sources in this deck to be running Cleansing Nova. I know we did not see a Cleansing Nova in the entire deck, but I don't really think that you want Cleansing Nova or First Eruption in this deck without having other ways to produce that white mana. I'm not counting on Treasure Map. I mean, yes, you could do it with Treasure Map. Treasure Map will help you out, but I still don't think that I just don't think there's enough white sources. I see that he's got more mountains in the deck because he's planning to be using some of those mountains to cash them in for First Eruption. I think you get off better by just having Deafening Clarion as a 4-of in the deck, and then you actually build a sideboard for the deck, and in the sideboard you put your Fiery Cannonades and things like that. So if you need additional board wipe, you can do that. Double cast, I think, can be better served as copies 2 or 3 and 4 of Expansion Explosion than opening you up for a copy or 2 of of shock or lightning strike or something like that. So I mean, there's some room in there. I like the grandma burn thing. I prefer grandma burn with bane fire and fight with fire, right? So if you're going to be using Giant Ballard, then like really have a good way to use her. I don't mind using her on explosion. This is a great way, or great way to use 3 additional mana. But when the deck's actually trying to cast a lot of cards that aren't instant as a sorcery, like Mirari's Conjecture and First Eruption, then you're not going to be using that. And a lot of the big turns, like you just got to set up and just say, okay, well, Jaya's not going to do anything this turn or anything this turn. And now we finally have Chapter 3 on Mirari's Conjecture, and I'm willing to fire off some of these things. And, once you get, to firing off, then, Jaya's exactly where you want to be. But until that point, like, you're kind of needing Jaya to kind of help stabilize, and I think you can do that really well with cards like Fight with Fire and Bane Fire, which again, if you were building that sideboard, that's exactly what I would start putting in over here. I would start with some simple counter spells, with some Fight with Fires, some additional board wipes like Fiery Cannonade, and then just make my adjustments from there. Probably throw in some lava coils somewhere or something like that. So, yeah, that's about what I would do with this deck. If I was going to try to run it back, I would definitely make some changes and stuff like that to it. All in all, though, it was fun. It was fun trying to make nothing happen. We had a lot of nothing happen tonight, except for the vampires. The vampires did a lot of something. These decks felt like we were just doing a lot of nothing. I get that there's some just these huge Christmas lands, these Wonderland things that can happen, but you're talking about going way down the line and needing a lot of things to go right to hit these board states you need to win the game with these win conditions. So, like Mirari's Conjecture, we do see it get some play and stuff like that. So, I mean, they're good cards. It's just you do not, Jareth. You want consistency, and you want like the same thing to happen over and over and over. So, I don't want to hear it. Like, you're gonna get your manatraders and your Magic Online thing fixed, and you're gonna play Golgari over and over and over because that's who you are. There's nothing wrong with that. We need consistent players, so it's inconsistent ones are kept in check. Oh, you did get it fixed. Awesome, awesome. Well, I hope you use my link. The link in the description box. I hope so. Anyway, if you guys want to sign up for manatraders, you want to be like Jareth here, and you want to play with the best decks, manatraders has got you covered. I've talked about them a lot because it's serious. It's serious, guys. You can go spend a ton of money, or you can wait a really long time to try to finally get one deck on Arena. Or you can pay your Netflix subscription to manatraders and just get all the magic you want. Like, let's face it, guys. Most of you out there spend more time watching Magic, playing with Magic, building decks, looking at decks, like consuming Magic content than you do watching Netflix or Hulu. And if you do that, same amount of money, $10 subscription to buy you a ton of decks. Like anything under $100 you can play with their $10 a month subscription. Sign up for manatraders. It's pretty good. I'm not joking. You can't stand MTGO, but you watch this stream religiously, and this stream is like all MTGO. Like Rocker's like he's talking to me. It's the old Ron White joke. Are you sitting on a beanbag eating Cheetos off your chest? Oh, is he talking to me? Do you want to get up and send me $1,000 right now? Whoa, I thought he was talking to me there for a minute, right? Anyway. You watch it, but you can't play it. Okay. Should have gotten manatraders for just a little while. I believe it's a good thing to do. Like, okay, if in the paper world you're only going to be able to afford, I'm going to argue the mana traders thing for just a moment here because like it's a legit thing. I got called a shield here not too long ago, and I was like, I am happy to shield for mana traders. If y'all want to call this shilling, I mean, I am happy. Like, wouldn't that also the dream? Like, to be able to pick the product that you actually wanted to feed to people, like to tell people about, instead of having to pitch a product that you truly didn't believe in, to be able to believe in the product that you wanted to pitch. Like, isn't that like a salesman's dream? Like, I actually like this crap. Like, this is the bee's knees, right? Like, anyway, mana traders pretty good. Like, no lie, guys. It's like you're shilling for someone we all love. Right? Right, yeah. But anyway, yeah, mana traders is pretty good. Like, if you can only have one deck in paper, like, if you don't have the money to be able to play a bunch of different decks, but you need to know how those decks play out, how those decks lose, how those decks line up against other decks, that sort of thing. You know, that's another reason to have mana traders, so you can test. If you're going to play arena and you can only have, like, you know, like, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to be going free to play, so I'm not going to have the rare wild cards to be getting, you know, the top tier deck, and oh, dang, it's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be Boros Angels. Thought it was going to be Boros. Thought Boros was going to be one of the top decks this season. I thought Boros Angels was really going to do it. And then it boiled down to Boros Angels started getting pushed further and further out of the meta by Jeskai Control and Golgari. So I ended up with you know, a bunch of Boros cards on, not Boros aggro cards on MTG Arena. So I just didn't have like I got halfway into building the Boros deck when I realized like the #1 deck on Arena was going, or in Standard was going to be Golgari, and it's like, wow, I really thought that the Boros deck could beat Golgari. It turns out it couldn't. Like Golgari was just too good. So that's like, if you get to test on Magic Online, then you know where you want to spend your wild cards, you know. So you just keep saving your wild cards until you have enough to buy the whole deck, and then you do your testing, you know exactly what you want to get, and go from there. And it's what I should have done. So anyway, if you guys want to get in on Subscriber Sunday, do exactly what Mr. Epsby is doing. He said he'll be posting more Reddit decks now with Mana Traders decks. He's going to be posting more Reddit decks, so go over there, check out those decks, vote on those decks, post your decks, and whichever decks get the most votes, we play them on Subscriber Sunday. It sounds like a broken record by now. You guys know how it works. Links in the description box below. Guys. Yeah. Yes, I was talking about shilling for things that you love. I mean, like, if you're... I got called a shill, and, like, because, like, I'm always going, hey, like, use Mana Traders, here's the link, you know, all this stuff. And it's like, no, I asked them, you know, could we work out a benefit? Like, could I get maybe a subscription or something like that? And then, which helped the channel out, which, you know, I get something out of it. So we get to play with all the decks. And then, for that, I would, you know, spread the word about Mana Traders. And no lie, guys, like, I wasn't able to play everybody's deck without Mana Traders. Now I can, so it was good. Anyway, Sideboardmtg, I tried posting your commander deck on Mana Traders, but it doesn't support the list, so use TCG for it. Sure. If you'll take the commander out and just put it, like, in... Yeah, but then you don't see where it says commander, right? Yeah. Yeah, that works. I will ask them about that. How'd the decks do, Jack? Vampires was awesome. Land destruction, we we destroyed a couple lands, but we just never really got around to the win con. And then we copied a bunch of spells, but not enough to kill our opponent with our Mirari's conjecture. So that's how we did. Anyway, but that's our show for tonight, guys. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun. We get to go over a lot of deck building lessons and things to do and don't do, and we got to see some interesting takes on some decks, and we got to see some ideas that people are pushing around. Remember, these decks are over on Reddit, and the posts are still alive. So if you guys want to go over and give some feedback on these, and say, hey, look, like some of you may have been watching this deck and went, hey, this is a really good idea, and if you did this, this, and this might make a lot of changes for you, and it might play a lot better. Go over and give that constructive feedback. Let them know, hey, look, I think that we can work with this if you think so, and give that feedback. But all in all, we're gonna have a lot of fun. We've got $5 decks coming up tomorrow night. So if you haven't checked out Dev from Strictly Better Magic the Gathering over on SBMTG, go check out Dev. He's got a couple decks up, and one of those recent posts is $5 decks. Check it out so you know what we're running tomorrow, and that's it. That's it. Bye. Mr. Drake, is there a song you want to go out on other than the happy song? Otherwise, I'll put it on the happy song for you. A lot of people were liking the new Dr. Mario Funky Pills. You might like it. How about a happy song send-off? Very well. Happy song it is. Let's get to it. Where's the happy song? I'm looking for it. There it is. Have a good one, everyone. Good night.